Sometimes you just gotta make them bite.
Oh, there he is. Look at that. Great big one.
This spot's gotta have fish. Ah, got him. Good one, boy. Good one.
There we go. There, got him. Nice fish.
That did not take too long. Oh, got one too.
Big one. There we go, Al.
Some days, fish chew the paint off your lures. Other days, it's kind of like pulling teeth. What's an angler to do? As always, the trick is showing fish something that makes them respond.
Nice. Woo!
Even on those so-called tough days when they don't want to open their jaws. You may not be able to tempt a fish to bite, but most of the time, you can make at least some of them strike. What's the difference? Biting is a voluntary eating response to hunger. But striking is an involuntary instinctive reaction that fish just can't resist. Like when something edible comes careening wildly through their strike zone, momentarily close enough to grab before it gets away. Bam! It's crunch time. Today, on the edge, we go after big pike roaming the edges of Main Lake food shells, using aggressive casting and trolling tactics that trigger large predators into striking.
What do you think of that action? This has been a fun day, Jim.
Then we go after summer walleyes using a modified winter jigging tactic that works remarkably well in open water.
You take the jig and wrap in the middle of summer on the same schools of fish, and you can see results like this, baby.
Because sometimes showing fish something out of the ordinary triggers extraordinary results.
That's definitely good action.
Man, there's fish down there, sitting right on them.
Sometimes you don't need to build a better mousetrap or reinvent the wheel. Just use a familiar, tried and true standby in an unfamiliar way to trigger spectacular results.
It's surely not a giant, but it's a really, really nice walleye by most people's standards. Water temperature is reading 75 degrees. It's a cold front after summer. And what am I using to get these fish? I'm jigging. But guess what I'm jigging? It's one of the all-time greatest jigs ever made for ice fishing. The jigging Rapala, and this sucker is not only for hard water. In many conditions, it's a killer in soft water too. And I'm talking the middle of summer, baby. It's always fun to do something that's really different. And those of you that really, truly like to jig fish, you know, this is the cat's meow, boy. And I know for a lot of you walleye anglers, you hardcore walleye anglers that are summer riggers and spinner fishermen or plug pullers, it's hard to believe that you can sit here with an ice jig like a jigging Rapala in the middle of summer and get on schools of fish and catch fish. But I guarantee you, if you're a deep water fisherman, say, let's say about 18 feet and down, and you got fish in those zones, you gotta try this. You gotta try it. You know, and sometimes you'll just pop it, and that thing flies off the bottom in many different directions, and that's what's triggering those fish. See my bait here? See my bait? Falling right there, that's it. That you could see it just falling right off. That was my bait, just jigging up and down. And when you get into the fish, you'll see it. You'll just see it. I'm just bouncing it along on the bottom. You just make the adjustments on your hummingbird, you know, and you set your screen on wide, kick the gain up, and you come right over those fish and you're jigging right into them. You'll see the fish react when you're on them, you know, when you're really on them. I'm slip drifting a little bit and there's fish spread all over. I'll get on top, hover on a couple and do that, or continue drifting. These fish are spread in a pretty good size deal, but you could sit right vertical on them, and the deeper you go, the clearer it is. Here's a few key points to keep in mind about jigging a rapala in open water. From my experience, they've worked best on sand or gravel bottoms. In snaggy rocks, however, you'll kiss your jigging raps goodbye. You don't have to fish a jigging rap vertically like you do through the ice. In fact, I've done best with the bait out away from the boat at about a 60-degree angle. And I just sweep the bait forward 2 to 4 foot at a time, and then I just let it nosedive back to the bottom. You can even cast one out and retrieve it down a drop-off as long as the area is pretty snag-free. It's a lot more versatile than most people think. There's a fish there. See that fish there? You see that? I might have had him. I might have had that fish. Oh yeah, another good fish. Pretty good one. Let's see. Oh yeah, nice fish. Nice fish. Come here, baby. Oh, she's got that thing buried down her mouth. Wait till I show you. It's completely down her throat. Okay, Mr. Walleye. Here. They are flat getting on that thing. It is a reaction bite. Look at that. Look at that bait. Can you see it down there? I mean, she just gobbled. Absolutely gobbled that thing. I got to get the pliers to get that one out. What do snap jigging, deflecting crankbaits off rocks, and the jigging rapala I'm using today all have in common? They don't entice bites, they trigger strikes. Aggressively feeding walleyes have few qualms about running down fast-moving presentations. Unfortunately, more often than not, walleyes are in a neutral feeding mode at best, and negative way too often. When fish behave like this, your first instinct is to slow down with tempting presentations like rigs or jigs tipped with a live bait. A good call to entice bites from finicky fish. However, walleyes can often be triggered into striking. It's almost an involuntary response. A walleye sees the lure zip by, doesn't have time to examine it, and pounds it because it thinks it's getting away. An instinctive reaction, not hunger. You can't get walleyes to react to a triggering bait all the time, but when they do, you better hold on. Let me show you something. When you're doing this, you need to have a little barrel swivel on there to eliminate line twist. All you need is a foot of it, that's it. Yeah, you know, 12, 15, 18 inches is plenty sufficient. Otherwise, you're going to have some line twisting. You know, as far as the rod and reels go, I got 3 different rods rigged. They're all 7-foot quantum rods. 2 of them are super lights and 1 is a tour edition. Number 10 quantum reels, PT reels. All my walleye fishing like this is done in open face spinning with this little number 10. I love it. 8-pound test, Suffix Elite. They got lots of different sizes. I mean, you get to the bottom instantly with this thing. There's nothing to get the bait to the bottom. You know, it's a small, compact bait and it's pretty heavy. They got a variety of different sizes naturally. Then you just short drop over the side of the boat as if you were ice fishing. And I'm sure what I believe is happening with these baits, the way these fish are hitting this thing, they're actually slamming it on the bottom. That's what's, I think they believe it's like a dead bait falling out of a school of perch or a school of shiners or a school of shad and falling to the bottom. You never feel it. You never feel it on the fall. You just lift up on the rod and the fish is there. I believe that bait is falling, it's hitting the bottom and those walleyes are going thunk and eating it. This is a good one. This is a good fish, boy. You know, this jigging rapala is really growing in popularity in a lot of different areas for a lot of different kinds of fish. Down in Southern California and some of the other western states where the bass go real deep in the wintertime, that's what they use to get them. Naturally, you can lake trout fish with it in open water. I know guys that use this bait in deep water fall smallmouth fishing in a lot of conditions. Just now, after this show hits, more walleye fishermen are going to be using it than ever before. I know some of you that are walleye anglers, this is hard to get your head around. You know, open water, 75 degrees, and you're using a jigging rap and catching 20 to 1 of what you can catch on a live bait rig in a night crawler. How does that grab you?
Live bait isn't your only option for catching walleyes. Jigs, soft baits, and hard body baits are deadly for triggering big fish to strike. Break tradition with Walleye Artificial Intelligence, part of our Angling Edge instructional DVD collection, available at anglingedge.com.
Aggressive predators like the pike spend a lot of time on the hunt. Their travels often lead them back to locations where they've successfully fed in years past. Anglers go through a similar process in their pursuit of pike, covering water quickly until their paths intersect.
Oh, there's one.
Often in predictable areas that attract big fish year after year.
Ooh, big boy. That's a big one.
Is, huh?
That's a whopper there. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I'd say.
There
Jimmy,
you
that
go.
is a
Now
nice
you're
fish.
talking.
You
Look
go.
at the size of
Get you
that
some
guy
tools.
there.
That's a big fish.
Well,
man.
yeah, that's a whopper there. You know, every year hundreds and thousands of people come to Canada to catch these guys here, northern pike. You know, and a lot of people think weeds, but realistically, through a good portion of the year, rocks is where to catch big pike. And right now I'm fishing with Jeremy Smith, and we're going to look at strategies to catch these guys in bigger ones. There she goes.
All right, just kind of like the pace of the fishing action, one after the other. You kind of got to keep that same pace with spots. You know, we're just bouncing to lots of spots during the day. Fish a point, fish a reef, but right now, late summer, definitely location is rocks. You want to find rocks.
And you'll notice out in back of us, we have this big open water, deep water section of the lake, and that's very deep water, 70, 80 foot of water. There's a lot of smelt, a lot of deep water bait fish like tullabies, whitefish, that those big fish feed on. So what we're doing now is really targeting the first big rock shelves coming out of that deep water. That's the real key. That's good, Jer. I think that's good. I'll pop her down right now. We'll just take the inside lane here. You know, boat control is a big part of the power fishing game, and what we're doing is fishing not very, very accurately. Northern pike are a real aggressive predator. We're taking really, you know, pretty gaudy baits and fishing them really fast. We're fishing along main lake islands, big points, underwater reef systems like we're on right now. But what I'm using is the autopilot, and it's got a couple of really unique features that are really nice for this type of fishing. Right now I have the autopilot on, and all I have to do is turn the motor on continuous. And what the boat is going to do is keep on tracking in whatever direction I want it to go in. And we're just tracking along, and every once in a while I am intermittently just changing the direction of the trolling motor, so I don't have to really deal with the trolling motor all the time. The other thing is when I hit a fish, all I have to do is hit the continuous button. It turns it off for fighting a fish in. It's really nice for this type of fishing. High-speed fishing. You just set it up and you just keep on moving at a pretty fast pace.
Oh, like right there, big jack, just ate it right at the boat, man. Oh, right at the boat. Woo! Come here, baby. Look at that. That is so fun. These fish are just awesome.
Oh,
look at that. That's a nice fish. Woo! Get up on these rocks in the wind, you know. We're kind of in that time frame right now where it's real late summer, kind of the early fall. The leaves are starting to fade and the water temperature is starting to drop. We just had our first big cold front about a week ago, and you get wind and those big jacks come up on these rocks, man. It is such awesome action. The average fish are just incredible. It's just unbelievable. Look at that.
Yeah, be careful.
And
Get away.
Snuck away from me. Oh, well, that's fun. And this is what we've been using. This is the program right now. There's so much water to fish up here. Everything looks good. All the spots look great. So really, a lot of the name of the game is just covering water. We've been throwing these clacking wraps around on these rock spots, and the pike are eating them up. You can fish them fast. They're loud and flashy. All right, time for another.
The thing nice about the swim bait or the Storm swim shad, it's you can really cast it up on the shallow rock piles, and I just reel it sort of quickly, and then as it drops out into deeper water, you can let that bait drop, and Jeremy's doing the same thing with that clacking wrap. So you can cover a wide range of the water column really quickly, vertically as well as horizontally. And these pike are, you know, they're real mobile fish.
I knew that.
And they can really move up and down in the water column. When these fish get active, they'll move up shallow up on these reef systems. And when they're inactive, they can drop down, you know, as deep as 30, 40 foot of water in really short order. These guys are real chunkaroonies. Come here, buddy. You gotta get on them quick. Come here, buddy. Perfect. Perfect specimen. Mr. Canadian Northern Pike. Come here, back to the depths.
That's the difference, Jim, between today and yesterday. Whatever that overcast must have been what it took to bring them really, really shallow. Now today with the sun and the wind, they're just sitting further out on the flats, it seems like, doesn't it? Get those flats.
Oop, oop, oop.
Oh, there's one.
Got him?
Yep.
Oop, another one.
Another one doubled up.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people look at pike as a fish that steals your jigs when you're walleye fishing or bass fishing, but they are, in reality, one of North America's greatest sport fish, especially when you're in areas like Northwest Ontario, where we are now in Sunset Country. Everybody's thinking about walleyes, maybe a little musky fishing, but you get your heavier bass sticks, some mid-sized baits, and you go out and cast, and man, I'm telling you, it is fish after fish, but the action
I got a big one
is
on.
unbelievable.
I got a big one on.
Ho, ho, ho! That's definitely good action. Getting a little bath here. I gotta show you something neat here too that I'm doing. Oh, barely get my hands around his head. These trebles are pretty dangerous. Trying to get rid of them. I always take the barbs off anytime I'm pike fishing. You get a lot of them. You don't lose many because of the barbs, but that is man, those are nice fish. It's getting squirrely on me. I'm gonna let him go. Whew. But this is a cool system. So look at this. I'm fishing right now with the Quantum. This is a flipping stick. We've got an energy rod and reel. It's just a nice combo. 40-pound Suffix 832. But this is a real key to this system. I'm using 30-pound tieable titanium. Look at this. I tie it right to the line. I use what's called an Albright knot right to the line and a little snap to the baits. And the stuff gives the baits a lot of action. If I was fishing heavy wire, if I was fishing heavy fluorocarbon with these baits, these tight wobbling baits, I'm losing action. This stuff, I can twist it up, boom, no problem. I never have to worry about retying. I can fish it all day. It's just a really awesome system for pike fishing with these baits. All right, time for another.
Another thing that's sort of nice with this tieable titanium, this is Terminator, is the fact that I can just reel it right through the guides. You can see I can reel the swim shad right up to the end of the rod and cast, and it just goes right through the guides. You don't have like a ball barrel swivel to get in the way.
It's worth it a lot of times when you're fishing these island complexes just to throw the baits out behind the boat and troll in between spots. It gets a little scary. I just came out of 40 feet into 15 just like nothing, and that's one of the big reasons for having a tiller boat. When I'm fishing in shield water, I love fishing out of a tiller boat because the structure you're fishing goes from really, really deep to, you know, split your hull open in just a matter of a few feet. So having a big tiller, this is a 200 Mercury Grotto, is really huge for boat control. I can maneuver so much faster than I could in a wheelboat. I can stay right on those spots, and I'm not
there's one.
hooked up.
Whoa.
What kind of animal you got there, Bubba?
Big boy, hang on.
All right. Ooh, that feels good. A lot of times you get those drive-bys, you feel them swing at the bait. Oh, he came off.
Gray lady down. Look at that.
It's pretty easy fishing, huh?
It really is.
Throughout the course of this day, we alternated between casting and trolling tactics. Each approach has its advantages and disadvantages based on the size of the area you're fishing. We typically prefer casting the smaller, high-percentage spots like small islands, small reefs, the tips of points where pike are likely to be concentrated in a distinct area. For one thing, casting keeps your lure in a high-percentage target area. You can fine-tune the depth of your lure by simply adjusting the speed and motion of your retrieve. If successful, you can easily replicate the pattern by moving down the lake, looking at your GPS, and stopping to fish areas with the similar characteristics. On the other hand, if pike are spread out across large expansive flats, large reefs, a lengthy bluff wall, nothing beats the efficiency of trolling for covering water quickly to contact packs of roving pike. Trolling, in effect, is like one long, never-ending cast, presenting your lure at the same depth for a long period of time. When you're after pike, explore both casting and trolling tactics until you determine a pattern where both predators and lures collide.
Look at that, the super shad does it again. Boy, is that a nice, beautiful fish. Tell you what, you want big action on your trip to Canada? Fish some rocks for pike. Lots of action, big fish, it's just a ton of fun.
Hey, I just tore this out of one of the daily devotionals that I read on a regular basis. I thought this was really neat. Someone has said that before our prayers can mean anything to God, they first must mean something to us. Mindlessly repeating a prayer we memorized in childhood or vaguely asking God to bless everyone, everywhere, that is an authentic prayer. Prayer is speaking to God about the deepest concerns of our hearts. God delights in the prayers of His children, prayers that express our love for Him, prayers that share our deepest burdens with Him. Don't pray casually or thoughtlessly. And then a scripture that supports that is in Hebrews 4:16. It says, "Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Any of you in a time of need? Probably all of us to some degree. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.
I sure want to take an opportunity to thank all our sponsor partners for making this show possible. And if you like what you see, let them know and support them. For more information, visit us at our website, anglingedge.com, and thanks for watching.